Hey guys, Standing Simmer here today, and welcome back to the channel for another speed build in The Sims 4. So guys, this is another addition to my Building Up Windenburg series, and I should really stop introducing my speed build videos that way this time, I guess, in the channel, because I've mentioned before that pretty much all the speed builds are probably going to be for this. So I'll tell you what, maybe I'll just assume that you guys know from now on that it's a part of that series, especially since it's in the title, and I'll only mention it if it's like for a different type of build or something along those lines. I don't know. I just feel funny having introduced like every single speed build for the last couple of weeks as, oh hey guys, it's another build for my Building Up Windenburg series, because yeah, that's kind of a given at this point. But anyways guys, I was like, this build came together so well, and as a result I'm very excited to share it with you. I actually didn't even know the other day when I started putting this together that I wanted to build at all. It was actually one of those days where like I'd already come home from work and it had been a really long day, and I knew I wanted to wind down by doing something. And my first thought when it comes to winding down for me is usually playing the game. So I'll want to play The Sims 4, I want to play Stardew Valley, I want to play something. But instead I opened up my build save, and I don't even know what my plan was at that point. All I knew was that that was the save that was open, and then I was kind of looking for some inspiration photos over on Pinterest, and I knew I pretty much just had like one more residential lot to do here on the island of Windenburg. And so I came across this beautiful reference photo which later inspires both the shape and the coloring of this house, and all of a sudden I really wanted to build. Like it happened very, very quickly. So I just put this house together. It took me like something like an hour and a half, I believe. I want to say something along those lines. And it just flowed really, really well. And it's kind of rare for me to have a build that does flow, you know, kind of that easily. Typically I like, you know, I kind of labor over the shaping and the coloring and then the floor plan and so on and so forth, you know, and then we get to the furnishing and all that good stuff. But this time it was kind of painless, actually. It just kind of came together. So those builds in particular are the ones that I'm usually very excited to share, because it just feels like it's a little bit more, it came from a bit more of a natural process, I guess you could say. Not that it's a bad thing to struggle when you're doing a speed build or anything like that. I feel like that's fairly normal, but it's kind of rare for me to, you know, walk away from a speed build and be like, oh wow, that was kind of effortless. It really didn't take too much. So the initial thinking I had when it came to putting this house together as to what family would live here, I was actually thinking that possibly a single parent and a toddler child would live here. I don't know, I feel like I haven't really focused on that dynamic as far as a family goes for any of my other builds so far, at least not in a specific sense. So I thought that it would be a really, really cute idea for, I was actually specifically thinking a single mother and then a toddler child as well. Could be boy or girl, I would think. The toddler room does end up kind of pink, but you know, whatever. So I was kind of thinking that it could go either way as far as that goes, but I thought that the single parent sim who lived here had a bit more of a boho style, and I thought that the movie hangout items and all the cool build and buy stuff that we got with that pack would go really well here on the island, in addition to, like, you know, items from the Caribbean update and then items that we have in other packs as well. So long story short, once again, very excited with how this all came together, and I hope you guys like the look and feel of it too. I just like it a lot, guys. Let's just leave it at that. So yeah, I just, for the actual specs of the build, what it comes down to is that this is a 20 by 30 lot, once again on the island of Windenburg. For some reason I'm wanting to say that Pier Palace was the name of the lot prior to when I was building on this, but I'm not exactly sure, because by the time we're at this point in the speed build, I've already changed the name, so I don't know if that's actually accurate, so don't quote me on that. But it is one of the 20 by 30s on the island. So guys, just place it wherever you want to as far as a 20 by 30 lot goes, and you should be just fine. Although I'm really loving the beach shack vibe that the island is kind of coming to have as we go. And like I said, after this speed build, you know, goes into my Windenburg save, we are finished with the residential lots for the island, because there are 1, 2, 3 other lots that exist on the island. I have ideas for 2 of them, including the 64 by 64 lot, and then I also have an idea for what will go on the bluffs as well. And guys, just about all of these ideas came from these really cool comments that you left me a couple of speed builds ago when I built one of the other beach inspired houses for this island area. So guys, thank you so much for your suggestions. I really appreciate you putting in the time to like type out a comment and be like, oh hey, here's my idea for this. Because I know sometimes it can feel intimidating to share your ideas, especially like on a public forum, but I really appreciate you just kind of, you know, saying, hey, I've got this idea, you know, do with it what you will, take it, run with it, whatever. Because I have honestly gathered so much inspiration from you guys when it comes to the interaction that you give me in the comments, and I really appreciate that, because I'm not the most creative person. I like to be creative, but sometimes my creative juices just aren't flowing. And so hearing things like that from you guys, hearing those suggestions are really kind of what spur me on toward further inspiration when it comes to putting together this save file. And so I don't know, I'm very excited for what's to come, especially for the rest of the island of Windenburg, which once again, we only have 3 more lots to go. So that is pretty cool. The other area that's coming along really well is the farmland area. So that's the area to the top and left of the Windenburg map. If you guys aren't familiar as much with the Windenburg map, the island area that we're working on right now is the top, or sorry, no, lower left of the Windenburg map. And then the farmland is the top left. So they're pretty close to each other in that sense, but they're literally across a body of water, at least if you look at it from like the bird's eye view of the Windenburg map. But this island area is, like I said, coming together really well, and so is the farmland area, probably because they have fewer lots than a few of the other sections of Windenburg. The other sections are coming along, but it's just a little bit more slow progress-wise compared to these sections. So guys, I actually had another question for you in relation to, well, first of all, if you have any more build ideas, like if you have any more ideas for lots you want to see, I have like 1 or 2 like community lot ideas that are open. Like I have some lots that I need to fill with something, but I'm not exactly positive what I'm gonna do with them just yet. I'll come up with something, but if you guys had an idea specifically, like I just said, your ideas do help me out a lot. So feel free to throw those suggestions in the comments. But another question I have for you guys, which I might ask over the course of a couple of videos just to make sure I get like a wide range of opinions. But guys, I wanna know what you think about whether or not I should create Sims to go in these houses. Because when it comes to the actual Windenburg save, I was kind of trying to think ahead to what it's going to look like at the very end, and I don't know for sure if I'm going to be sharing like an actual world save file, because it will only be one world that's completely furnished and redone and all that kind of stuff. I might eventually go through all the worlds and put together a complete world save file, but I don't know if I want to do it for just one world. So for that reason, I don't know if I'm going to be creating Sims for these houses. I don't know if you guys would prefer to just be able to download these off the gallery, just to get them from the gallery and go from there, fill them with your own Sims, or if you would actually like me to create families that could go with each of these houses that I've built already. It's just the kind of something I've been tossing around in my mind here in the last couple of weeks as I've been putting this together. I'm not really convinced one way or the other, so if you guys have ideas or you have reasons why I should or shouldn't create Sims for these houses, then definitely let me know, because again, that's why I ask you guys these questions, because you guys have such cool ideas and you think of things that I necessarily wouldn't have just by myself. So that's why I ask you guys these things, because yeah, I just really appreciate you kind of let me know what you think about that. So yeah, if you could in the comments below, leave me any more community lot suggestions that you would like to see in the Windenburg save, and if you just let me know, weigh in on whether or not I should be creating Sims for these houses too. Of course, if I were to create Sims for these houses, they would be completely CC free, guys. I know that if you watch any of my current households or LPs or anything like that, you know that my Sims love their CC, and by that I mean I love CC on my Sims. But if I were to be creating something like this that would be shared with the community, just like I don't use build by CC, and if I did, I wouldn't put them in these builds. I also wouldn't be, you know, creating Sims to go in these houses with CC, because then it would really restrict the people that could actually download them. I don't really think that that's conducive as much to, you know, creating a world save, but to each their own. That would just be the way that I would do it when it comes to putting together the save myself. So never fear, definitely wouldn't be CC townies. They would be completely CC free, which, to be honest with you, it's been ages since I've even created CC free Sims. It's been a very long time. I don't do a ton of creative sim period on my channel. That could be the reason for the lack of CC free Sims that I create just on a regular basis, because I always have like my default eyes, and I have like my skins and my accessories and my clothing and my hair, and all of those things make it very difficult for me to create CC-free townies. So guys, I do apologize for the slight bit of background noise that's kind of going on in, in the background here today for this video and for just a couple of my videos in general. I've mentioned this before, but I do have my setup on my computer and my mic and everything set up next to a window which looks out onto a pretty busy street out in front of my house. And while my new microphone is really nice when it comes to cutting out background noise like within my home, like I can actually have my fan on and stuff while I'm recording nowadays, which is glorious because it's summertime still and it's hot as blue blazes near me right now. Regardless, it doesn't seem to be able to cut out a ton of the background noise from the street just in its raw form. I know that there are probably filters and things I could apply, but I don't exactly know how to do that just yet. But every once in a while when a vehicle revs particularly loudly or just creates a lot of noise, you can kind of hear it back on the recording. I don't know if it's as bad as I think it is, but it's there nonetheless. So I am sorry for that noise kind of there hanging out in the background, but it kind of is what it is. Like I said, my new microphone is glorious when it comes to like enhancing the sound quality as a whole, and then also cutting out small amount of background noise kind of here behind me once again so that I can have things like my fan on, but it doesn't do quite everything, which is totally fine. I didn't exactly know what to expect in that regard anyway, so I'm very happy with the microphone that I did end up choosing and would heavily recommend it, by the way, guys. If you're looking for a new microphone for whatever reason, if you have a podcast or YouTube channel or you stream on Twitch or whatever, I really love my Blue Snowball. So if you're looking for a recommendation for a mic, then I would definitely recommend it. But guys, back to the build here ever so quickly because it's been a while since I talked about the build. It's actually been since the very beginning of the video pretty much. But guys, like I said, I actually intended this home to be for a single parent, which that's kind of why the bed is shoved up against the wall in this house in the room that's definitely dedicated to be the adult room. I was thinking more single parent and a toddler child. And once again, you can kind of see the boho theme. It's pretty prevalent throughout this build. This ends up being a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house, which you've already kind of seen. Since this build as a whole, since the footage actually came to be a fairly short amount of footage, I left in things like the bathroom, which I normally wouldn't leave in throughout a speed build. I believe I also left in doing the floor planning, so that was kind of cool. It's not something I always do, once again, because it just takes up a lot of unnecessary time, especially if we're talking about a larger build and I do a good bit of struggling to find out the floor plan and the design and all that kind of stuff. Another interesting thing about this build is that I do leave the majority of the walls white. So I don't know if that was just... I do remember that at the time I was thinking that there are so many other colors going on in this build that I didn't want there to be any clashing with the wall color, and white is just a very nice neutral color, and I thought that it would kind of allow everything around it to come out in a little bit more, I don't know, I just thought it would make everything else a little bit more vibrant, I guess you could say. So that's the reason that the vast majority of the walls in this build are white, but then again there's just pops of color everywhere. I thought that again, because the single parent who, like I said, I kind of pictured it to be a single mother, would have had a big hand in, of course, decorating her toddler's room. I mean, how many toddlers actually decorate their own rooms? I don't know of many, but I thought that since their style is obviously this very bright, bold, vibrant, bohemian type style, that as a result, their toddler's room would also have a good bit of that style. Maybe as the toddler, grows older and becomes a child and a teen and so on and so forth, they would kind of start to develop their own style, and perhaps it wouldn't be quite as bright and vibrant. What would be funny is if the toddler that lives in this house actually ends up growing up to have a lot more of like a monochromatic type style. Perhaps they only really like neutral colors, and like bright pops of color itself is not as much their taste, I guess you could say. That would be kind of a funny thing to play out, I suppose, if you end up playing with a family that could live in this house. I swear, today it feels like the traffic around here is like out to get me, because again, I'm gonna definitely cut out that last little section, but there was just a helicopter that must have been ridiculously close to my house. Like, normally we don't have a lot of air traffic kind of across where I am. There aren't a ton of nearby airports, like not a lot of major airports nearby, but there was just a helicopter that honestly, like if I had left that part of it in, would have been very obvious probably, just because of how loud it sounded. It must have been like ridiculously close to my house there for a while, but oh my goodness, anyways. So guys, this house is player tested because I wanted to make sure that your Sims could get in and out of it, because there are a lot of kind of small cramped spaces, a lot of more questionable areas of the build that wouldn't be functional unless I had just made sure, I just wanted to make doubly sure that everything looked okay as far as that goes. And speaking of this build as a whole, guys, it is available on the gallery, and the information for that is in the description below. My gallery ID is standingsimmer, and I always try to put these under the hashtag standingsimmer as well, in addition to the hashtag building up Windenburg, because that is the name of the series at least. So once again, I try to put the download link and all that info down in the description below, guys. So if you would like to see more of that info, if I didn't cover it enough here in the voiceover, then you can definitely take a look at it then. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead and begin to wrap up the voiceover here. So thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. Again, leave me comments on all the things I kind of discussed a little bit ago if you would like. Just kind of let me know what you think there. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Once again, I really, really appreciate it. I hope you're having the best of days, and I will see you very soon. Bye!